Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of the AROC Halfords International Formula Alpha Championship for 2021. We're at Kyalami this weekend, a great racetrack, and we'll be underway shortly with qualifying. So yes, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 3 of the AROC Halfords International Formula Alpha Championship for 2020. Oh, we have a big off from Andrew Whitehead to start us off there. This is the qualifying session, we've got 20 minutes to go, and let's see where people can get on the grid. Alex Smith obviously taking home the lion's share of the points last time round, with Alan Matthews close behind in second and Colin Knief in third. After an eventful weekend, we enjoyed that double header with the reverse sprint race after. We see another small off from Paul Plant, I believe, there. Just narrowly avoiding the car of Andrew Whitehead. Alex Smith is the first to set a time of 1:43.78. We're on board with Alan Matthews now. Oh, sorry for that. We were on board with Alan Matthews, we're now on board with Alex Smith, who's seeing what he can improve on. We're on board now with Alan Matthews again, in a lovely liveried Formula Alpha car there. Heading down the start-finish straight. We will just head over the kink now. Apologies, appears to be having some technical difficulties. We're on board with Colin Knief. Just give me a second to work out whereabouts on track we are. Apologies for this. Colin Knief on his outlap, it looks like. So we're coming back now to the start-finish straight, and we're coming through Inga. He'll be looking to set a blistering lap, getting himself on pole. He likes the front row of the grid, and he sets a 1:42.7 there, so there's pole for him at the moment. Heading down through the kink. We're on board with Paul Plant now on his outlap. Back on the start-finish straight we go after a nice run through turn 16. He starts his first sector. Oh no, apologies, we have an issue with the timing screen. Paul Plant taking pole there with a 141.4. Board with Colin Knief now. He's 50 seconds into his lap. Just behind the car of Andrew Cracker there. And it looks like we're heading through T10 at the moment. Could very well be wrong. And Matthews setting a time of 144.5 there. So Colin Knief will be looking to beat that 141. A great lap from Paul Plant there. Head through the crocodiles, through T14, pardon. And we're heading through T15 now. And back onto the start finish straight. Looks like a small error there from Andrew Cracker up in front. See what Colin Knief can do. Oh, still not good enough for pole, unfortunately. 132 miles an hour through that speed trap there. Let's see what's going on further down the grid. Guy Swarbrick setting his first lap now. Or his second lap, rather. Looks like he just had a fairly quick outlap, to be honest. All the time's rolling in now. We've got a mixture of outlaps and people seeing what they can do out there on this great circuit. On board to Greg Young here. On the paired we have Paul Millman and Rob Whitney. He'll be hoping, I imagine, for a little bit of strip clean probably down the start finish straight, but otherwise he'll be wanting them clear out of his way. Colin Knief getting just under a second behind Paul Plant now. Oh, we see a little bit of on-track action there. Oh, with Rob Whitney having an off. Greg Young and Paul Millman doing a good job to avoid there, but unfortunately it looks like Greg Young has to abandon his lap and get his tyres ready for another go-around. On board with Matt Daly now. The number one car of Matt Daly, last year's championship winner. Oh, we see another off in the background there. Couldn't quite make out who that was, unfortunately. But cooking those rear tyres well. Onto the start finish straight we go. Will it be enough for Matt Daly to improve? I don't think it will be. Or rather, get up there on pole. He goes into 6th position at 144 dead. Well, 141.1 really you would call that, but close enough. Oh, we have an off there from Paul Plant, current pole sitter. Andrew Cracker overtaking there, it looks to be a fast lap. But we have another off there. Rob Whitney looks to be on a quick lap at the moment, improving well in quite a few sectors. Let's see how he can improve. Apologies there, we look like we're now on the fast lap with Rob Whitney. Poor plan, current pole sitter out on his lap at the moment. Let's see what Colin Knief can do. So it's snatchback pole. Oh, Matt Daly looks like he's had an off, but has posted an equally quick time. Improving himself, getting up that grid. And it looks like Colin Knief has either backed off or he's just finishing his out lap now. Philly Swarbrick posting a time of 1:45.1. So far, no one able to really give a scare to Paul Plant there. I imagine he'll be fairly happy with his lap so far, but I'm sure with the 11 minutes remaining, he'll be looking to improve. .136 for a speed trap there for Colin Knief. Oh, we have another off there. Couldn't quite make out who that was. These open wheel Formula Alpha cars are superb. I mean, they give you all the dynamics that you'd expect from an open wheel car, all the challenges to go along with that, paired with that excellent little MultiAir engine that, as I've said before, is really characterful and actually quite punchy for such a small capacity engine. Although I did hear during the practice session, did hear a couple of what sounded like engine failures. Not questioning the reliability of the MultiAir units there at all. But never know, this could spice things up during the race. As we're on board with Colin Knief now, coming towards the end of his lap. Colin Knief unfortunately not improving to take pole position from Paul Plant. On board now with Matt Daly. He's another challenger for pole from Paul Plant. His livery obviously coinciding with his with livery that also adorns his Giulietta and TCR UK Championship. 32.9 Sector 1 for him there. Tim Perry joining the session. Let's see what he can do. He's got a 1:12.3 to beat there for this sector. Fortunately, he's 6/10 slower. I'm not sure whether he'll be able to challenge for pole on this lap, but we've still got just over 8 minutes to go in this session. Few still sitting in the pits there. We're seeing off from Greg Young there. Good job to keep it back on, get it back on the tarmac there. So we're off from Alex Smith as well. I imagine he's having a moment to reconsider before returning back to the pits. 142.1 for Matt Daly there. Paul Plant's still out on track in the so far unchallenged position for pole. Nice and smooth on the outlap from Paul Plant there. Be all too easy to really try and go quick around the outlap, get too much heat into the tyres, and then you've ruined your chance at a good quality lap. Board with Alex Smith now. getting his way around what looks to be... I thought that was Colin Knief. Oh, we see. That's an interesting way to warm up your tyres from Greg Young. I think you've missed a pit stop there, unfortunately. You'll have to go around the long way. Or, thanks to the methods involved in getting to the pits in Assetto Corsa, just teleport there. We see a little bit of oversteer from Paul Plant there on that corner. Heading through the S's now. Followed closely by Alex Smith. More than Alan Matthews here. You see Will Harper having a bit of an off there. Paul Plant now starting a quick lap. 6 minutes to go in qualifying. Will anyone be able to challenge that current pole position? We start off the weekend with 100% grip on track. That's to, I think, just to even things out a bit during the quali session. So extracting more out of the surface might not be the strategy to go for, and you might just have to nail a nice clean lap. Great noise there from the induction side of the of that MultiAir engine. Colin Knief currently on a... looks... no, that's an outlap. We head around T10 through T11 with Paul Plant. Through Mineshaft. Some great names to these Kyalami track corners. Fortunately, some of which I can't pronounce, so we'll be alternating between giving the corners names and giving them numbers. And we head up to the start-finish straight. Extracting everything he can out of this car at the moment, Paul Plant. Finley Swarbrick improving to 1:44.3. Will he be able to improve on that quick time? Unfortunately, he won't be. It's nearly a second slower. Colin Knief improving somewhat, but unfortunately not enough. It looks like he's on another quick lap. Just under 5 minutes to go now of this qualifying session, and Paul Plant has enjoyed the majority of it up on pole there, leaving Colin Knief and Matt Daly scratching their heads a bit, I imagine. But so far, really not too much variation through the field. I mean, all the laps so far are only 5 seconds in between. It's a good standard of driving so far this weekend. Let's hope we can keep that up through a T1 of lap 1 of race 1. Fortunately, not the time he needed through that sector there from Colin Knief. As we see Paul Millman heading into the pits there. It looks like it could be a quick one, but will it be enough to take pole? It won't, unfortunately. Just creeping into the 141s there. I think that's an improvement. Yes, it is, just slightly. It's an improvement for Colin Knief, but not enough to take pole. On board now with Matt Daly, the other challenge so far for that pole position. Finley Swarbrick having a nice improvement there to 1:43.7. That takes him up to 5th. Heading through the S's now with Matt Daly. Hearing that lovely backfire on the overrun there. Alan Matthews improving there. Tim Perry taking himself off the bottom spot of the grid there with a 146. We're under now less than 5 seconds spreads out the entire grid. We're coming now to the end of Matt Daly's quick lap. Heading through T16 now. Will he be able to improve? Maybe take that top spot? He improves and takes second place. That'll be annoying for Colin Knief there, but excellent job from Matt Daly. Lovely close battle for pole position here, with less than 2 minutes remaining now in quali. And you can hear, actually, Colin Knief's car hitting the top of the rev limiter there. So I think he's geared his car quite aggressively to get the absolute most out of the straights on this circuit. But maybe that's meaning he's not quite getting the speed that he needs. That's part of the fun of this these series is that we have open setups. So whatever a driver feels allows them to get the most time out of the track, they can do. We saw in the Auto Italia Giulietta series last week, Colin Knief just absolutely running away with it over the weekend. He obviously, apart from his great driving skill, found a setup that really worked for him around Brands Hatch. He'll be coming to the end of his outlap pretty soon, and he'll be looking to climb himself back up. As you head through T11 now, it looks like Matt Daly is... can't quite work out if he's ahead or not. I think he's slightly ahead. Yes, he is. He's just coming through T16 onto the start-finish straight. He'll be looking for about 3/10 that he needs to take the top spot. Oh, and it's close. There's less than 2/10 in it now between Matt Daly and pole. Obviously a great lap from Paul Plant there. It's really challenged the other drivers. Colin Knief now coming to the end of his outlap. Let's see what he can do. Oh, has he just missed? Oh, it's a 1:41.8. Sorry, I believe that was an outlap. According to my time screen, but it appears that's not the case. Greg Young improving to a 1:43.7. So, Paul Plant at the moment is our provisional pole sitter, and it looks like it's going to stay that way so far. However, Matt Daly looks to be on a flyer. Colin Knief reserving himself to a third there. Still an excellent effort. Less than half a second covering the top 3 positions there. And I think we're just coming to the end of the on-track action now. To see Andrew Whitehead improving up into 6th. I think, did Alan Matthews just about make it out on time, or is he at the end of a lap? Yeah, he's at the end of a lap. So, the grid for race 1 of this weekend is Paul Plant taking pole, Matt Daly in 2nd, Colin Knief in 3rd, Andrew Cracker in 4th, Finley Swarbrick in 5th, Andrew Whitehead in 6th, Greg Young in 7th, Alex Smith in 8th, Alan Matthews in 9th, Paul Millman in 10th, Guy Swarbrick in 11th, and Will Harper in 12th. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the action. It's the start of race 1. We've got just under a minute to go until we set off. Paul Plant taking pole obviously just then, with Matt Daly and Colin Knief close behind. You hear the engines revving as people get ready on the grid. Less than 30 seconds to go now. Let's see what type of action we get through T2. Can everyone keep it clean? Whoever comes out of lap 1 quite well in this race will be certain on for a good position. And we've got the gantries ready. 6 lights. And we are away. Apologies for the lag there. Looks like a decent start for Paul Plant there. Oh, it appears we're having some technical difficulties. I apologise. Joining the action, it looks like Paul Plant's managed to keep ahead so far. Oh no, Matt Daly takes him in T2. Paul Plant fighting for that position back. A little bit of oversteer, but he gets the move done. Oh no, I think we've had an accident. Yeah, it looks like Guy Swarbrick's off there, unfortunately. Matt Daly just getting Paul Plant down the straight on into turn 6. People swapping positions all throughout the grid at the moment. Some great action. Looks like unfortunately there's been a collision that sent Rob Whitney and Guy Swarbrick to the back. Matt Daly getting ahead of Paul Plant on lap 1, and so far is well, I say reasonably comfortable now, but still just half a second separating them. Whitehead nicely up until 3rd. I think he was 6th at the start of the race. I think we have an off from Steve Knight there, unfortunately. Maybe a bit of collision between him and Will Harper. Oh, we got some damage on Colin Knief's car there. That's a great shame. Stewards will have to have a look at that one to see what happened. See. Oh, Will Harper's off, unfortunately. Looks like Paul Plant's had an off. Yeah, we've got a damaged front wing on Paul Plant's car. That promotes Andrew Whitehead up into 2nd and Andrew Craker up into 3rd. Greg Young and Paul Plant pitting there. Try and salvage from this race whatever they can. Andrew Whitehead close on the tail of Andrew Craker. Great livery on that car there, reminiscent of the lovely F1 car. We've got a close little pack here, heading through the S's now. Alex Smith around the outside at the moment on Steve Knight. Just about getting the move done. Looks like someone went a bit wide there. Damage on Finley Swarbrick's car as well. It looks like everyone had a bit of a close lap 1. Matt Daly surviving lap 1, getting around Paul Plant without any damage. He'll be settling into this race nicely now in the top position. Colin Knief managing to keep his car up in 4th, with Paul Millman hunting him down with that damaged front wing. Steve Knight having a small off there. Now, if Colin Knief's got enough pace in him, even with this damaged wing, he may not want to pit at all. So far, he looks to be keeping people at bay. Matt Daly's taking the fastest lap there of 1:43.6. Colin Knief with a fairly decent lap given the damage to his car. Oh, we have... I think that was Paul Plant having an off there. Yeah. Oh, that's a great shame. This race has gone so wrong for him so far. From pole all the way to plumb last, with damage as well. Oh, Guy Swarbrick having a bit of oversteer. That'll promote Will Harper up into 11th. Oh, we have Alan Matthews getting around Paul Millman there. Paul Plant has been lapped, unfortunately. With a bit of damage on Alan Matthews' car as well. Wow, I think the body shop will be busy after this one. I think, unfortunately, it's blue flag conditions for Paul Plant now. I think you need to let those two continue those battles, even with that damage front wing in Alan Matthews' car. Impressive driving, really, considering the amount of damage that these cars have got, that people are able to still stay up in the higher positions. Matt Daly not really getting away from Andrew Craker up in second. About 2.5 second gap at the moment. He can relax a little, but he can't start. He hasn't got too much breathing room. 163 set through that speed trap then. That's quite the speed in these 1.4 multi-air powered cars. Finley Swarbrick having a little bit of oversteering into the barrier. That won't be very good for the car. Rob Whitney's promoted into 9th. Colin Knief continuing on with that front wing damage, as is at this number 5th position car of Alan Matthews. Rob Whitney getting around Finley Swarbrick. I imagine his car fairly poorly after that incident on the start-finish straight. Yep. Yeah, it looks there like he's just completely lost all downforce on the front end. I think he'll have to pit and try and salvage from the race what he can. He should come out perhaps ahead of Paul Plant, maybe. Depends how long that front wing replacement takes. Paul Millman using as much track as he can to get the... I can't work out if that's a back marker, unfortunately. Doesn't look like it is. No, it's Alan Matthews with the damage on the front, so Paul Millman will be really egging himself on to get the move done on him. Colin Knief's front wing's looking really quite in poor state now, but still he soldiers on. Oh, I think we have an off there. I think that's... Oh, it's Andrew Craker. Oh, that's a great shame. That promotes Colin Knief back up to 3rd position. I'm sure, even given how this race has started, I'm sure he'll be happy even with any podium spot right now. Of course, Colin Knief leading the championship at the moment with a nice haul of points from the last weekend. Alan Matthews, 2nd in the championship standings at the moment. He's down in 5th with damage to his car as well. Oh no, apologies. Colin Knief's currently 3rd in the standings. It's Alex Smith who won last time round. I'd like to redact that again. No, Colin Knief is currently leading the standings with 69 points at the moment. Matt Daly's in 2nd. He is currently leading. 6 seconds ahead of Andrew Whitehead now after Andrew Craker had that unfortunate incident. And Alex Smith is 3rd in the standings at the moment. He took the win last weekend, or pardon me, last time round, and he's currently in 9th position. Paul Millman getting the move done on Alan Matthews finally. I suppose there's only so much you can do with no downforce on the front end. However, Alan Matthews looks to be fighting back, and he gets a move done. Excellent driving with a damaged car there. Colin Knief's keeping his pace well given the circumstances. I'm sure the pit lane will be somewhere he doesn't want to visit, to be honest now. We have just over 15 minutes remaining of this race already, and it's been, I'd say, fairly action-packed so far. With it's been a survival of the fittest type of race so far, and unfortunately we've seen some people really get affected by the contact in the first couple of laps, but some people seem to have taken it in their stride. Colin Knief setting a 1:43.6. Looks like Alex Smith went use as much track as he could there. He's hunting down Rob Whitney in 8th, who also has a front wing damage. Paul Plant, our pole sitter, unfortunately in last position at the moment. A lap down. Finley Swarbrick as well. It looks like let's see. Yeah, he looks like he's pitted to repair his damage. So now it'll just be a race of attrition and kind of getting your head down and seeing into what position you can climb up to. Guy Swarbrick in 13th. Greg Young in 12th. Steve Knight in 11th. Will Harper in 6th. Oh, sorry, 10th. Alex Smith in 9th, hunting down Rob Whitney with that front wing damage. As we head through T11 now. Oh, no, pardon me. This is not T11 just yet. Getting ahead of myself. We're headed through the S's. Now we're headed through T10. Alex Smith there, hunting to see whatever tarmac he can use to get the move done. But Rob Whitney just keeping him at bay for now. Alex Smith getting the move done eventually. Some damage to his own car, I've noted. Going around the outside using as much track as possible there, just keeping the 4 wheels within the white lines. And looks like he's secured that move as we head on to the start-finish straight now. Matt Daly extending his lead to nearly 8 seconds now ahead of, I was about to say Andrew Whitehead, but it looks like Colin Knief just got around Andrew Whitehead there. Or was that Andrew Whitehead and off as Andrew Craker takes the bottom spot of the podium now. Andrew Craker with damage as well. Oh! Big crash there. Big crash for Alan Matthews. And it looks like he's taken out... Is that Paul Millman in the process as well? Yes, it is. Oh! That was a very good job to avoid that there by Tim Perry. Also carrying front wing damage. What a shame. Is that Rob? Yeah, it looks like Rob Whitney was involved in that incident as well, I believe. Oh no, it was Guy Swarbrick, apologies. He's DNF now. What a shame. I think Alan Matthews was pitted as well. That'll be to repair damage or to DNF himself. Meanwhile, Matt Daly up out in front after those first couple of laps is enjoying a nice comfortable race so far. Nearly 9-second lead now on Colin Knief. I'm not sure how much he'll be able to do to hunt him down to with that front wing damage, so he may just have to settle for second and do a good defensive job. Either way, with that damage, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Such a shame that we lost Paul Plant from the top spots there. Oh, we have a bit of oversteer from him. He could have really done with these this points all from pole. He would have been. He's currently standing at 8 points, so that really would have jumped him up in the championship standings. There's always a reverse grid race in this double header. Paul Merman just behind Tim Perry now. God, I don't think there are many cars out on the field at the moment that don't have some type of paintwork missing or fractional damage to the front wing at the moment. Just over 10 minutes remaining of this race now. Tim Perry doing a good job to keep him behind with that front wing damage. Colin Knief as well with that front wing damage coming onto the start-finish straight, keeping Andrew Crager behind. At this point, I may as well just put myself on a recording loop just saying front wing damage. Medal SD driver's doing a really good job to keep these wounded cars at a good pace as well. Colin Knief setting a 142.9, keeping these cars out on track. Matt Daly, imagine, relaxing somewhat, 9 seconds out in front. Paul Plant currently in 12th. Looks like Finley Swarbrick's having to pit for damage or is retiring from the race. That sees Paul Plant back up into 12th. Alan Matthews also carrying damage on his front wing. It looks like Rob Whitney's had quite a slow exit to that corner with the back marker. That's Paul Plant. Oh, Paul Plant's taken an exploratory route around Kyalami there. Luckily managing to rescue it before he found a barrier too high of a speed. Meanwhile, amidst all this chaos, Matt Daly out in front. Imagine somewhat calm, knowing behind him is the very quick Colin Keneath, unfortunately carrying damage at the moment. Andrew Craig shortly behind. Andrew Whitehead shortly behind him. And then we have a gap to Tim Perry in 5th, Paul Millman in 6th, Alex Smith in 7th, Rob Whitney in 8th, Will Harper in 9th, Steve Knight in 10th. That looks like he's being chased down by Greg Young. Let's see what Greg can do to fight for that final points scoring position. Greg Young chasing him through the S's now. Finding where he can stick the nose of that Formula Alfa Tatuus car. Head through T11 now. But it looks like for now Steve Knight's just got the measure of him, unfortunately for him. He'll have to give it another go in the next lap. Will Harper carrying damage on his front wing there, as is the number 8 car, or apologies, the number 7 car of Rob Whitney. Greg Young getting the move done on Steve Knight. We missed that, unfortunately. I'm not sure if there was a bit of a collision there, perhaps. It looked... Yeah, it was quite a slow lap there from Steve Knight. Looking at my timing screen. Colin Keneath just a second ahead of Andrew Craig at the moment. Suppose the front wing damage on both these cars are equalising them out, so not too much pressure for Colin Keneath there. Meanwhile, out in front, Matt Daly. Over 8.5 seconds ahead. Using, I'm assuming that they don't have a DNA system built into that MultiAir engine as they do in the road cars, but imagine he'd be in the normal position. No need for dynamic right now. Meanwhile, Paul Millman hunting down Tim Perry down a start-finish straight. Fairly equal lap times from the two there. So it's anyone's guess as to who will be in that number 5 position by the end of the next lap. Very vibrant number 69 car there of Paul Millman as we head around T2. And head into the very well named barbecue corner. Just over 5 minutes remaining of this race now. Matt Daly will be hoping for no more drama and he will take away a nice first position. Paul Plant hunting down what looks to be a back marker, unfortunately. Or it looks like... Yes, it looks like Paul Plant's just been overtaken there. However, I think he's unlapping himself. Yes, he is. Getting around the car of Rob Whitney there. Tim Perry so far keeping Paul Millman behind. He is carrying front wing damage though, so he's doing an excellent job so far keeping Paul Millman behind. Colin Keneath consistently in the 142s with that broken front wing. Excellent job from him. He's just 8 seconds. I say just. He's 8 seconds now behind the race leader. Tim Perry just keeping himself out in front from Paul Miller now. It looks like he went a little bit wide and onto the grass there. Paul Miller getting a good exit out of T16 onto the start-finish straight. I think we might have seen a little bit of tyre rubbing there. Rubbing's racing after all. Let's see what Paul Miller can do through T2, T3 and T4, that short complex. Will he get T5? Or, pardon me, P5? He won't at the moment. Tim Perry just cutting him off and sticking the nose where he needs to. Bit of flames on the overrun there of that multi-air engine. Imagine Tim Perry. Imagine not calm in that car at the moment as they both use as much of the track as possible, going in, dipping into the grass a little bit. Less than half a second between these two, or as I say that, just over half a second. It's quite hard to tell at the moment where, I mean, they are quite low downforce. I mean, compared to their power, they're not low downforce, but in the grand scheme of things, they aren't incredibly high downforce cars. So it's hard to really tell where the front wing damage is affecting these cars just by looking at the visual damage in Assetto. I'm sure the drivers will be feeling it. It'd be interesting to hear from them where the front wing was affecting them. So far, the cars with front wing damage managing to keep them where they want to. No major accidents really from these cars with damage. A nice stable drive from these drivers. It's 2 seconds now between Andrew Craker and Colin Knief. Paul Millman still stuck behind Tim Perry. He's got just a little over 3 minutes with that final lap included. What will he be able to do in that time? Paul Plant still in 12th after that wonderful pole position. Great shame to see that. But often lap 1 of incidents just cannot be avoided. It's always chaos at lap 1. Oh, we have an off from that's from Paul Millman. Oh, that's a shame there. I think we're robbed of a great battle towards the end of this race. Paul Millman now demoted down into 8th or 9th, I believe, by the time he gets going again. Yeah, it looks like it'll be 8th. That's a shame. Paul Millman was really putting Tim Perry under a lot of pressure. That gives Tim Perry some breathing room now. Maybe he's Alex Smith carrying it. Alex Smith doesn't look to be carrying any damage, really. I believe he's got a little bit to the side. Like, to the side of his vehicle, yeah, there. So, let's see, in just over 2 minutes, will he be able to find that 10 seconds that he needs? Less than 7 seconds now between Matt Daly and Colin Knief. Matt Daly having a quiet race out in front. Well, did we just see? Yeah, we just saw Andrew Craker nearly have a moment there through T5. Obviously, those cars on the bottom 2 spots of the podium both carrying front wing damage, doing an excellent job to stay up there so far. To see Paul Millman using a bit of the grass there. That won't be doing him any favours with Will Harper chasing him closely behind. Looks like Paul Millman's had a little bit of a wide moment there at the start-finish straight. That'll play into Will Harper's hands nicely. Will Harper closing up on them now. This is where we see the difference of the open setups, perhaps. People running more or less downforce, people adjusting their gearing slightly. Will Harper getting the move done so far as we head through T2, T3, now through T4, coming into T5. It looks like he's secure, but he's got massive oversteer, and that's Will Harper promoted down into 9th. What a shame after that excellent overtake that we just saw. Paul Millman will be happy with that one. So that's just how easy it is to unravel your work. Looks like perhaps Will Harper's running quite a low downforce setup, maybe, to give him that advantage on the straights, which Can be really beneficial in these 170 approximately horsepower cars. Low downforce will really benefit them in the straights, but as you've seen there, it can be far more unpredictable through the corners. Colin Knief looks like he's closing on Matt Daly. Perhaps Matt Daly's made a mistake. Just 5 seconds between them now. Just over 5 seconds. The timer runs out, and the leader will soon be starting the final lap of the race. Paul Milburn's had enough, and that promotes Will Harper back up into 8th. As David Crawford put it, a good switcheroo there between those two. Both having incidents, equalising it really. Perhaps courtesy. Looks like the gap between Andrew Craker and Colin Knief is separated out a bit more now. 2 laps remaining, apologies. 2 laps to go now for the leader. 5 seconds between him and the front wing damaged Colin Knief. As we head into these final couple of laps, we have Matt Daly 5 seconds ahead of P2, which is Colin Knief, Andrew Craker in P3, Andrew Whitehead in P4, Tim Perry P5, Alex Smith P6, Rob Whitney P7th, Will Harper P8, Paul Millman P9, Greg Young P10, Steve Knight, apologies, P11, Paul Plant P12, Alan Matthews P13, and we have Finley Swarbrick P14. Or it looks as though he's in a pit. He may be qualified as P15, and Guy Swarbrick may still be classified P14. We're on to the final lap now with Matt Daly. He kept the nose clean through the first couple of laps of the race and has enjoyed the rewards, really. No major mistakes, just calm and collected, and he's been rewarded with the top spot of the podium so far. Behind him is Colin Knief, just finishing the S's there. Matt Daly heading through T11, currently on the top spot. Just 4.5 seconds now separate those two. Matt Daly running a bit slowly for some reason, perhaps. Fortunately, I don't think there'll be enough race distance left for Colin Knief to benefit from that and really put some pressure on him. Good effort nonetheless from Colin Knief with that damaged car. As we head now through T16 onto the start-finish straight, it's Matt Daly leading, Colin Knief in second and Andrew Craker in third. But Matt Daly kept out of trouble, and he's seeing the rewards. He takes the win. Excellent job from Matt Daly there. Colin Knief taking home second. Oh, I think we have a bit of lag from the server there, unfortunately. Oh, I believe we had an issue, a technical issue, unfortunately, on the start-finish straight. Sure if the servers crashed or something. Oh, we're back again. That may have been my connection issue. Apologies. Andrew Whitehead taking home 4th. Colin Knief taking home 3rd there. Andrew Craker classified as 2nd. Not quite sure what happened there. I'll have to find out and report back as we head into the reverse grid doubleheader. Tim Perry with his damage on his front wing, heading through T16 onto the start-finish straight. Tim Perry taking home 5th. Rob Whitney's been promoted into 6th. Alex Smith had an off. It looks like Alan Smith's had an off on the very last lap. Will Harper, yeah, it looks like Rob Whitney's going slow. So Will Harper promotes himself up to 6th position. Looks like Rob Whitney has some rear wing damage as well, perhaps? No, that's just my eyes. As we head across now the line, we have Will Harper taking home 6th. Looks like Rob Whitney's going slowly with perhaps a mechanical failure. So Greg Young takes home 7th. Paul Millman takes home 8th. And Rob Whitney takes home 9th. Oh, no, sorry, Alex Smith takes home 9th. Rob Whitney's down in 10th now. Great shame. Looks like he's run out of fuel, perhaps. just not fueled it enough. He'll have to crawl across that finish line. Will Steve Knight beat him to it? No, it does look like he will. So Rob Whitney will take home 10th. Steve Knight 11th. Paul Plant classified 12th. Alan Matthews classified 13th. Guy Swarbrick classified 14th. And Finley Swarbrick classified 15th. We'll join you shortly for the second part of the weekend. And welcome back to the action here at Kyalami. We've got just under a minute until we set off. Apologies for the mistaken calculations for the classification for the previous race. We had some technical difficulties. It means we aren't able to provide you with a classification at the moment, but they will be available on the AROC Racing League's website and the Facebook page. There's 30 seconds to go now in this reverse grid race. We saw a lot of lap 1 action. Let's hope we can keep it a little bit cleaner so we have a little bit less damage heading through this second part of the weekend. Engines revving, ready for the launch now. We've got just 10 seconds to go until we head off. Gantry's lit. And we are off for race 2. The car's dispersing already. As we head down into T2. Kept relatively clean so far. Oh no, we have a big accident. It looks like it involves Tim Perry and Greg Young. Oh, Matt Daly as well. What a shame. He's the defending race winner. He'll have to really try hard now to fight through that pack. Does he have any front wing damage? We can't quite tell yet. Meanwhile, look out in front. Rob Whitney's currently got the lead, with Alan Matthews closer behind. Alex Smith in third, but it looks like Alex Smith gets the move done and is now in second place. Colin Knief making his way through the pack. That outstanding drive with that front wing damage in the last race. Oh, I think we see an off there. Yes, it looks like Paul Plant, as well as Guy Swarbrick. That's a shame. Let's see what he can do to fight through the field now. Paul Millman's promoted up into 5th. Colin Knief now 6th. He's had a nice clean lap 1 by the looks of things so far. Colin Knief now in 5th. Tremendous job fighting through the field so far as we head through T10 and T11. Oh, Finley Swarbrick spinning around there. That won't do him much good. He'll now be demoted to the back of the grid for the moment. Let's see what he can do in the rest of this race. Just over 20 minutes to go. Paul Plant taking front wing damage again. It's almost a carbon copy of race 1 for him. Matt Daly currently in 11th. He'll be trying to repeat his win from the previous race. But meanwhile, his contender Colin Knief's up in 4th. Excellent lap 1 from him. Kept the car in good condition, and look at the rewards. Promoted up into P4, and I'm sure he'll be fighting for those podium positions soon enough. Just under a second ahead of him, we have Andrew Whitehead in 3rd. Meanwhile, Alex Smith's hunting down Rob Whitney on an excellent helicopter cam view there. Paul Plants looks like Andrew Craig has got a move done on Tim Perry, but Tim Perry's fighting back and saying thank you very much. P9 is mine. Alex Smith just 3/10 behind Rob Whitney now. Andrew Greger getting the move done on Tim Perry, but it's not secure yet. Matt Daly closely behind then. He'll be really wanting to get to the top of that field. Oh, I think Rob Whitney's had enough. Oh, that's a great shame. We see Alex Smith now taking the top position. Andrew Whitehead in 2nd. Colin Knief now in the podium point. Excellent job from him so far in these first couple of laps. Will Harper getting the move done on Rob. Oh no, looks like Rob Whitney's had... Is that another off? That's a shame. He'll be pitting to, I imagine, repair some damage or possibly retiring from the race, which is a shame. He's had a great starter lap. Finley Swarbrick having another off there, so Greg Young taking advantage of that fact. Paul Millman getting overtaken by the damaged car of Paul Plant there. I imagine a lot of these guys now have pretty good experience driving these cars with no front wings. Meanwhile, just a second covers the top 3 positions. Colin Knief having a great lap, 144 there on full fuel. Paul Plant having an excellent lap despite his front wing damage. Greg Young taking himself up to P12 there. Meanwhile, Colin Knief up out in front. Hunting down Andrew Whitehead and probably Alex Smith at the same time, because why not? Matt Daly overtaking Tim Perry, but Tim Perry just fighting back again. Excellent defensive moves from Tim Perry so far. But Matt Daly, unfortunately, getting the move done. Fortunately for him, getting the move done through that corner, promoting himself up to P7. Colin Knief promoted himself up into P3. He'll be hunting down Alex Smith for that top spot, but unfortunately he's had oversteer. Commentator's curse there. Can he recover it in time to still be in a decent position to fight for that win? Although I imagine now he'll be carrying some type of cart damage. He's P6 at the moment. His rival, Matt Daly, just behind him now. Andrew Whitehead taking back P2. Paul Plant back up in P3 despite his front wing damage. A second separating the top 2 spots at the moment. Paul Plant close behind in third. However, Will Harper is fighting in for that bottom podium position, and it looks like there's contact. What a shame there. Will Harper and Paul Plant coming together. Paul Plant facing the opposite direction now. Colin Knief and Matt Daly overtaking him there. He's down in 9th now, unfortunately. Close pack at the moment has seen him go from the podium to down in P9th. What a shame. He's had some really rotten luck so far over this weekend. Taking pole, and then unfortunately probably too much contact really for his liking, and that's seen him relegated to the low positions for now. Let's see what he can do in the rest of this race. Less than half a second separating the top 2 spots at the moment. Meanwhile, Will Harper is just shortly behind them. Meanwhile, Colin Knief's been hunted down by Paul Millman. He'll be looking for a recovery after that incident that he had earlier. It doesn't look like he's taken too much damage from that contact, luckily for him. But less than half a second behind him is Matt Daly. Colin Knief now really close to Paul Millman, benefiting from that slipstream. Looks like Will Harper went a little bit wide there. That won't be helping him. Colin Knief getting the move done on Paul Millman. He's up into P4. Will be soon fighting for that podium position again. Looks like a DNF from Finley Swarbrick. That's a great shame. Two seconds now separating the top 2 spots. Alex Smith has seen himself dragged out into the lead. I believe yes, he was the winner last time round, so he'll be looking for a repetition of that in the previous round. Colin Knief shortly behind Will Harper, less than a second separates those. Paul Millman close behind him. And Matt Daly close behind him. Andrew Craig, we've got some cars really looking quite racy now. They'll be trying to see where they can finish in the remaining just over 15 minutes of this race. Excellent racing so far. Andrew Craig really using as much of that slipstream that he can on from Matt Daly. Paul Plant taking the fastest lap of 1:43, even with car damage. Matt Daly promoting himself into a P5 there from Paul Millman. Imagine he'll be wanting to have a little bit of a battle with Colin Knief. And it looks like we've got an off, unfortunately, as that looks like Andrew Craig. Yes, it is. What a shame. They've done so well following each other so far, but unfortunately something was inevitably bound to go. Paul Plant now shortly behind Tim Perry. Matt Daly getting the move done on... Oh, it looks like we've had another off. That's Colin Knief and Will Harper by the looks of things. Oh, no, and it looks like perhaps an unsafe re-entry, and it looks like Andrew Craig has been affected by that as well. What a shame. Looks like we're really coming into a great battle. Paul Plant in 5th. Tim Perry under pressure from him in P4. Matt Daly promoting himself into the P3 podium positions. Less than 2 seconds separating the top 2 at the moment. Colin Knief down in 10th, unfortunately. I imagine a little bit more damage for him now. Tim Perry going around the outside and Paul Plant around that corner. Can he make the move stick? Has he got the run on him? He doesn't, unfortunately, and there's contact. As I said in the previous race, Robin's racing after all. We head through T16 now. Let's see who can get the good exit and who can benefit from the slipstream or the lack of downforce, perhaps. And these open setup cars, they Really mixed the field up a little bit. Less than a second now separating the top 2 spots. Andrew Whitehead hunting down Alex Smith. Matt Daly 8 seconds behind him. Greg Young overtaking Andrew Crater and Colin Keneath as they enter the pits to repair damage. Steve Knight now up in 9th, and Guy Swarbrick motored into the point scoring positions in P10. Less than 10 seconds between the top 5 positions now. Paul Plant carrying damage up in P4. He's done an excellent job to recover after that early race incident. Just over 15 minutes of this race remaining now. Not damage free, just like race 1, but seen some excellent racing so far. And still those top 2 positions keeping relatively close. A second separating Tim Perry and Paul Plant there. Looks like Colin Keneath still remaining in the pits. I think he's got extensive damage, unfortunately. He may be retiring from this race. Promotes Alan Matthews up into 12th. Such a shame. We've seen some great driving from Colin Keneath so far this weekend. Carrying damage in race 1 to take the podium positions. We're undecided as to whether that's P2 or P3 at the moment, unfortunately, following that classification glitch towards the end of the race. But he was looking speedy in race 2 as well, wasn't he? Just a 10 separating these two out in front now. Andrew Whitehead really putting pressure on Alex Smith now as we head through T2. And the complex with the sweep. Alex Smith doing an excellent defensive job to keep him behind so far. Guy Swarbrick trying to put some pressure on Steve Knight now. And we see, yeah, it looks like Colin Keneath will be retiring from this race, unfortunately. Rob Whitney now promoted up into 13th after his early race incidents. 2:10 separating these two now. Can Andrew Whitehead get the move done? No, he can't, unfortunately. He'll have to go the long way around. Excellent defensive job from Alex Smith so far. So far we have Alex Smith defending Andrew Whitehead in P2. Forcing Andrew Whitehead wide. He's now got the inside line though. And we see a bit of oversteer from Alex Smith. That'll be really affecting his chances of keeping that top spot. Andrew Whitehead now taking the top spot. Excellent battle from these two so far. Let's see what they can do as they carry on through the race. Matt Daly closing on these two now in P3. With Paul Plant carrying damage in P4. Tim Perry in P5 and Paul Millman close behind in P6. Will Harper involved in a couple of incidents, unfortunately. He is now 7th. Greg Young in 8th. Guy Swarbrick promoted into 9th after overtaking Steve Knight. And Andrew Craker in 11th. Alan Matthews in 12th. Rob Whitney in 13th. And Colin Keneath unfortunately retiring along with Philly Swarbrick to close out P14 and P15. Second separating these two now. Andrew Whitehead having the pace to take that top spot so far, but let's see what challenge Alex Smith can build up towards the end of the race. Less than 5 seconds now between the top 4 positions. Looks like Will Harper's had another knock off, unfortunately. I wonder if he's carrying damage. Oh, Guy Swarbrick having an off as well. Steve Knight taking back that 9th position. Promotes Greg Young into 7th. Still just over a second separating the top 2 positions at the moment, with Matt Daly closely behind. Andrew Whitehead separating that gap out up to 2 seconds nearly, as we see 142's being set by Paul Plant and Matt Daly. Excellent speed from Paul Plant given the circumstances. Matt Daly closing in on Alex Smith now. He'll be hungry for that second spot on the podium as we see an off from Andrew Whitehead. Oh dear, the leader's spun. What a shame. He was looking quite confident out in the front there. Goes to show perhaps these drivers are running low downforce setups and they're seeing the disadvantage of them maybe. Alex Smith now taking back the top spot, and that now makes Matt Daly a challenge for the top spot on the grid. Paul Plant close behind though, just a second separating the podium now. As it looks like Matt Daly is trying to go around the outside perhaps. No, he doesn't quite have the speed in that straight as we head through the S's. Oh, Paul Plant spun out in the back there. That'll affect his challenge to climb up the podium. Matt Daly so far just eking out ahead, but he'll have to go around the outside, which will give Alex Smith the podium position back. We head through T11 now. Matt Daly had the inside line there, so he takes the top spot again. But Alex Smith is definitely very close behind, and it's certainly not secure yet. Andrew Whitehead now 8 seconds behind. Oh, that's unfortunately Paul Plant is now in 5th. And Andrew Whitehead looks to be carrying damage now after that contact, unfortunately. So Tim Perry is shortly behind him. What a shame. He was looking quite confident in his pace out front there. Still just half a second as we head through onto the start-finish straight. Less than 10 minutes remaining of this race now. Matt Daly with a blistering lap there. So he's obviously in quite a quick section of this race. His tyre's probably looking good. He's burnt off some of his fuel by this point. And let's see if he can have a repeat of race 1. Race 1 he was calm and composed, didn't take any damage really, and he'll be looking to do the same because he'll be benefiting from that greatly. So now we've got quite a substantial gap between the bottom 2 spots of the podium after those earlier incidents. We've got a second now separating P1 and P2. And then we have another 8 seconds going down to Andrew Whitehead, who is certainly not relaxed. He's got Paul Plant, who had an off himself, and Tim Perry bearing down on him. Paul Plant trying to challenge Tim Perry there. Oh, big crash from those. I'm not sure if Tim Perry was involved as well, and he might have just had a lucky escape, but Paul Plant spinning around in the air there. That promotes Paul Millman up into 5th, and Paul Plant's car will be severely damaged after that. Such a shame. He was looking quite the contender for the podium, despite the damage he was already carrying. Paul Plant now returning to the pits, unfortunately probably retiring as well. Such a shame. He's shown speed through this weekend. He's had some fairly bad luck, but we saw him take the pole in quali, and collisions saw the end of his challenges in both races so far. What a shame. 3 seconds now separate Matt Daly and Alex Smith. I'm not sure if there was a small accident involved, but Matt Daly out in front once again. He'll be looking to settle in now, post some good laps, and keep out of trouble. Alex Smith 4 seconds behind P1 now, as we've got probably about 8 minutes remaining of this race. Paul Plant's retirement into the pits now promotes Alan Matthews up into 11th, and we'll see Rob Whitney promoted into 12th, and Colin Knief won't be promoted, obviously retiring himself earlier in the race through contact. Alex Smith challenging Matt Daly. I'm not sure if Matt Daly's had enough, but however, around as we head into T10, he's the faster car. That'll leave Matt Daly scratching his head, I imagine. Still less than half a second so far. It's anyone's guess at the moment who will be finishing the next 2 laps out in front. Andrew Whitehead now in third. 5 seconds separate him and the top spot now, so he's recovered well so far. I think we've got a glitch with our timing there. Don't think any vehicle so far has achieved 232 miles an hour. As good as these 1.4 multi-air engines are, as Matt Daly's finding out, headed down the start-finish straight. He's looking to get his nose out in front as we headed through T2. T2 went his way, and Alex Smith unfortunately had a little bit of oversteer, which secures Matt Daly in P1 for now. Such a shame. Great battles so far from Alex Smith, up at the top spots of the race. Andrew Whitehead in third, Tim Perry in fourth, Paul Millman in fifth. Yes, as good as these 1.4 multi-air engines are, I don't think we're seeing those type of electric speeds from them. Two and a half seconds now separating the top 2 spots after that unfortunate little bit of oversteer from Alex Smith. Matt Daly taking his place back in P1 for now, but let's see if he can be challenged again in the final stages of this race. Looks like, not sure if Alex Smith's carrying some damage. He looks to be getting fairly oversteer in the corners now, and that will promote Andrew Whitehead up into second. Yeah, it looks to be that rear wing is damaged on Alex Smith's car. That'll be not helping him through the corners there. He'll be getting some severe oversteer. He'll have to play it carefully through the corners, or he may pit at these final stages of the race just to get some decent laps in and see where he can recover to. All depends on how long it would take to repair that rear wing, unfortunately. Andrew Whitehead now 6 seconds behind the leader. Matt Daly, that gap out in front growing once again, as we saw in race 1. Andrew Craker coming up on Guy Swarbrick for P8 at the moment. As we head to into T13, Andrew Craker getting moved done on Guy Swarbrick. And edging out in front now as we head into the start-finish straight. Great move there from Andrew Craker. So the grid now is fairly separated out after all of the action and chaos of the early and middle stages of the race. We have, actually, Alex Smith going off again, unfortunately. I think he's just carrying too much damage. That promotes Tim Perry up onto the podium now. Such a shame. He obviously taken away the most points from the last round at Spa. Paul Millman now promoted in fourth as Alex Smith, slowly falls down the grid. He may need to pit just to recover some points scoring positions. If it's a quick enough repair, he may still be in the points. And he can use that extra pace to fight through, but with only a few minutes remaining of the race, he may just try and be gentle through the corners and salvage the points that he can. Matt Daly now 7 seconds out in front. Great drive from him on both races this weekend. He wasn't able to snatch pole from Paul Plant, putting an excellent couple of laps in qualifying, as we see Paul Plant DNF, such a shame. That qualifying effort was great from him, but he looks to have been the... looks as if we're going to have 2 commanding victories from Matt Daly in both of these races. I'll have to probably check my maths, but I believe that'll put him clearly out in front now, with Colin Knief DNFing from this race. He will be effective championship leader. Meanwhile, we have Greg Young on Alex Smith. I'm not sure how much battling Alex Smith will want to do with that damaged front wing. I don't think he can. Fortunately, I think the pace out of that Tatuus FAO1 car has been removed, unfortunately. Such a shame. We've seen some great battles from him so far in this race. Under a minute left now on the timing before we head into the final couple of laps of this race. Andrew Craker hunting down Will Harper. Will Harper, I'm not sure if he's carrying damage or at the moment. Obviously involved in a couple of collisions earlier. Will Harper running a little bit wide onto the grass there, but so does Andrew Craker. Matt Daly now nearly 8 seconds out in front. You almost wouldn't have guessed it, obviously, him having that lap 1 collision. That demoted him quite far down the grid, really. But he's got his head down, kept out of trouble, and reaped the rewards up in P1 at the moment. Meanwhile, Andrew Whitehead, after being out of the podium positions a few laps ago, is now currently second. This is after we've seen Paul Plant and Alex Smith both suffer from collisions. Paul Millman in 4th at the moment. Greg Young in 5th. Alex Smith in 6th. Will Harper in 7th. Andrew Craker in 8th, hunting down Will Harper at the moment as we head through the start-finish straight. 2 laps remaining of the race now. Head through the kink. Technically considered a corner. I imagine it is in these cars, but in anything with a little bit more downforce, I think you struggle to go into a corner, to be honest. It looks like Will Harper's had the measure of him down the straight so far, though. Oh no! Will Harper going wide! That promotes Andrew Craker up into P7th. Will Harper likely carrying damage, I think, after those earlier collisions. Andrew Craker scrapping his way through the field. Those all-important point-scoring positions. We head into T10 now with the race leader, Matt Daly. Guy Swarbrick in 9th. Stephen Knight in 10th. Alan Matthews looks like he's carrying damage there in 11th. Rob Whitney in 12th. And then we have a few DNFs to round out the field. Andrew Whitehead, 7.5 seconds behind Matt Daly at the moment. As Matt Daly begins his final lap out in front. 7.5 seconds. He enjoyed a win last time round. Really a calm and collected display from him, but it looks like, in fact, Greg Young got the move done on Paul Millman down the start-finish straight. So he's touching the lower echelons of the podium scoring positions there. Don't think he'll be able to make 10 seconds up on the last lap, but you never know. As Matt Daly heads through the S's now. Clambering his way up from the bottom of the field, up into P1. He's kept out of trouble, and he's had a great weekend so far. He'll be taking home 2 first positions. He'll be top of the championship standings. I'm sure Stewart's decisions are notwithstanding that so far. I imagine the Stewards will be very busy after this weekend. And obviously following the issues in classification with Race 1. Who knows how the championship standings will look. But anyway, head through T14 and T15. And then around T16. On the final lap of this race, Matt Daly will enjoy the second of his victories this weekend at Kyalami. Excellent display in both races from him. And he takes the win. Good job from him. Andrew Whitehead taking second now. Another great race from him, recovering as he managed to get the second spot on the podium. Tim Perry a little behind him, meanwhile, taking the bottom spot on the podium, looking like a little bit of oversteer for him there. He'll take third. That rounds out our podium. See Greg Young getting that move done on Paul Millman in the final stages of the race. He'll now take home 4th. Meanwhile, Paul Millman coming around T16 to take home 5th. Doesn't look like so far we've got anyone running out of fuel as we did in the last race. Alex Smith taking home 6th. Good job recovering that damaged car. Getting it to the end of the race in 6th after we see him carry a lot of damage by the looks of things in the final stages of this race. Andrew Craker taking home 7th. Will Harper closely behind taking home P8. And then we have Guy Swarbrick coming around T16 now. He'll be scoring a couple of points down in P9. Excellent effort from those in this race, recovering from the action at the start of this race. Steve Knight taking home 10th, the final point scoring position for Steve Knight. Then we have Alan Matthews taking home P11, going a little bit wide there by the looks of things. And then the final one of our race finishes. Looks like he's out of fuel, actually. He may have to DNF. What a shame from Rob Whitney there. See the victorious Matt Daly on his return to the pits here. Yeah, I think Rob Whitney's ran out of fuel, unfortunately. Excellent job from Matt Daly, though, across this weekend. So, that concludes our racing at Kyalami. Certainly been action-packed. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have commentating it. I'm sure the Shooters will have a busy one at the end of this, but nevertheless, we'll rejoin you next time round for more fun in these Tatuus cars. Thank you very much.